Hello everyone, this is Lori from Grammy's Keepsakes, and I'm on part 2 of our Let's Make a Little Christmas Golden Book Journal. So we've got our spine done, covered with fabric. We have our signatures chosen, and I have to update you. I changed my mind on the center signature, and what I did was I printed out the planner pages that I used in my red taffeta soft covered books, and I put that in the center here. So I have 4 separate weeks, plus the center has the month. And this is a digital I got from Calico Collage, and I believe it's called Golden Christmas Planner Kit or Vintage Christmas Planner Kit. Yeah, I think it's a golden. I'm not quite sure. Maybe it's just plain Christmas Planner Kit. I guess I should have checked that. But what I've done is printed out this page, and I backed it with, this is from the Golden Christmas Kit. And then I've got a few more pages. And here's another printable from that same kit, and I backed it with this list from that same kit. And I believe you get like 2 files. It comes in zip files, and then you extract them. And here I have another week, and I backed it with this lined paper from the same kit. So this signature is now going to have more than 15 pages. And here I have the month at a glance, and on the back I have another sheet from that same kit. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 pages in it now. But I really don't know what 2 pages I'd like to pull out, so we're going with it. There are no rules. Okay, so now what we're going to do is make the template for our spine. And I've already got one, but that's not fair for you, so we're going to make one, and I'm going to show you how I do it. I have a piece of file folder, so it's a little bit heavier cardstock. You can use plain paper, but because I make so many, I like to have them sturdy, and I cut it the same size as the spine, so it's 1 3/4 wide by 7 7/8 inches long. That's how long my book, or how tall my book is. So the first thing I'm going to do is fold it in half. You can use your scoreboard, which with this cardstock might be a really good idea, but let's give it a try because maybe not everybody has a scoreboard. So let's burnish that down. You want to get it as accurate as you can. Because when you go to put your lines with your punches, they'll be crooked if you don't. So I am, okay. I'm making a mark down my center also. I'm kind of picky like that. I want my spine signatures to be perfect. And so yeah, okay, let's make a pen mark so you can see it better. My pencil kind of got lost in my crease. Or, you know, instead of well, we need it folded anyway because when we do the signatures. So there's my center. Now what I'm going to do is make the lines on each side so that they're going to be straight as well. And with the 3 signatures in the 1 3/4 inch spine, I make my signatures. I'm going to use this ruler. This one's so worn that the line I need has disappeared. And I want you to see what I'm doing. I'm going to go with 3/8 inch from the edge and make a line. Turn her over because I'm right-handed. 3/8 inch again. So now I have my 3 lines of my signature. Now I need my center. That's easy. Fold her up. Now I have my center. I will put the line so you can see it. And you need to designate one end to be the top in case you should get a little not quite exact in our measurements. And because it's basically a handcrafted item, it's not supposed to be perfect. So let's just designate one end for the top. And then what I want to do is measure down 1 inch. That's why I like clear rulers. I can see that I'm going to be straight. And 1 inch from the bottom. My ruler was wiggling. Okay, that works. Get all my stuff out of the way. And now I'm going to grab an old phone book and an awl, and I'm going to poke a hole at the intersection of all of my lines. Oh, my glasses are dirty. Can't see. That was probably too much information, huh? Okay, so there we have our little golden book spine. template. And then what you can do, see, I just write on it what it's for. And so you can just little golden book, and there's the top. Now we need a couple of clips. Oh, here we go, a couple of clips. And we're going to center this on the back spine. And if I measured right, it should match. And if I didn't measure right, I'll wing it. And you always want to make sure that when you're going to do this, that your fabric has already dried. Okay, now I'm ready to punch holes. So now these 3 holes again at the top, go ahead and punch through that chipboard. And the 3 in the middle. And the 3 on the bottom. We got it. So we're going to set this aside. I don't need the phone book anymore. And what I like to do is start at the back. So here's my back. So I'm going to put these over to the side. And I'm going to double check that the placement is the way I want it to be. And so this is our chance to move anything around that we want moved. Add, change, or delete. And I don't think I mentioned it yesterday, but when I dye my paper for my little golden books, I use legal size paper so that they extend the same size as my book. And legal size is 8.5 by 14. And so then I just have to trim off a little bit because folded in half, my page is 6 5/8 inches. So I just lose like maybe 3/8 of an inch off of each side. So it works perfectly because I like to have the pages different lengths, including all the full size. Like here is a 12 by 12, so it's going to be a 1/2 inch shorter. But it adds that interest. And regular letter paper also is the 8.5. So it adds another little interest. So I'm going to go with this the way it is. And I just use my thumbs, get it down in there. Now remember our top. Look for a page with words from the story. So the top goes in, and this is why we folded it. And then we're going to go ahead and clip one side, clip the other, and I'm sure all of you have done this, and if not, just follow along. And now we're going to go ahead and pierce. I'm not going to go through very far, but when I go to put the awl into the hole, I close the book signature even more so that it goes right through the center. And I don't want the hole too big. And now I'm going to remove the template, but I do that carefully so nothing gets out of sync. And then this one you can just slide it through so it's ready to go. And then we need our thread, and I'm using a waxed cording. I go for 3 times the length. Get that threaded. Going to pierce it right in the middle in that hole. And going for the back into that hole. Okay, but we need buttons, don't we? Let's not forget the buttons. So we're going to put this aside. So everything's going to stay in place because I've got that needle in there. So I had a button jar and I emptied it out into my tray so that I could play with the buttons and all the pretty colors. And what I have here is a little cardstock template the size of my spine. So that I can look at how I want my buttons to be. And I have 3 signatures. And so I have 3 lines of buttons. And I found this formula works for me well. And what I do is I put 3 buttons in the top stitch, 2 buttons in the middle stitch, and 3 buttons on the other stitch. And then the bottom half, I do the same thing. So I have the 3, 2, and 3. I find that it's not too crowded then. And I lay it all out so I can see how it's going to look. And that I don't have like all the same button all lined up or something. And that it's going to fit. And you're not going to end up with too big of buttons or too small of buttons or too many or too few. If I have to add one, I go ahead and add it. But I remember that, see my center? So I just kind of break it up. So I'm looking at half at a time. And then move those buttons out of the way because I can't tell you how many times I've had to pick them up off the floor. And I'm just going to slide this over because I tend to be a crafter that takes up a lot of room. And so we've started with our bottom, our last signature, and I'm going to make the stitches go to the bottom. So I want the buttons that are going to go here. So this, like my bottom half again. So I want this one. And bring this up through. Get all my muscles. There, we got it. Now I'm going to hold that button, flip her over, so that I don't pull my thread through. I take a clip and clip it. I've seen people tie it onto paper clips too, and that works. Whatever works for you, just so that you don't pull it through. So now we're going to finish threading on that button. I was going to call it a bead. and then go for the next one. And the third one. My other needle broke, so I'm using this one, and it's got a sharp point, and I'm not used to a sharp point. So I get stabbed quite a bit, but too lazy to dig out all my other cruel needles. So I poked my needle into that bottom hole. And we're going to go for the bottom hole of the signature. Yeah, can't see. There, we got it. Yeah. Note to self, clean glasses before you sew in signatures. Then we pull it. And we're not going to fuss with the buttons too much because we need them to have some wiggle room until we get done with our signatures. Now I'm going to go all the way to the top into that hole and into the hole on the bottom, or the spine, but the top hole. And then it gets caught on the little clip, so just release it. And now I need the buttons. So top one first. Next. I think the buttons add such a nice, fun touch to these storybooks. And now I'm going to go into that center one. Don't pierce that thread that's already there. I'm going to remove this clip so I can see a little more. And hold that thread. There, I got it through. I'm going to grab a plier. And I have both of my threads on the same side of that one, so I'm just going to bring one over. And hold it, get it tight as you can. Take a look on the other side. Is it tight? Are buttons good and not overlapping? And I'm bringing my buttons away from where the stitches go into the spine so that I have more room to move if I need it to move. And now we can go ahead and tie our knot. And do a double knot. And then we can unclip it. And fold her over. Now we're going to grab the center signature. Double check that everything is in the right place. Close her up, making sure that it's level. Put in my little template. Clip. And when I do this, I'm just making sure that my template is seated into the fold as tight as it can be. And then we'll go ahead and pierce it. We need some more thread. And of course you can use less thread. 2.5 works just fine, but I like to have it a little bit long so that the new owner of the journal can tie beads or charms or whatever onto it if they would like to. So that's my reasoning behind the 3 lengths. And again, let's clip that so I don't pull it off. And we're going to go for the beads on the second, or yeah, the buttons for the bottom half of the middle signature. And then all the way to the top. I get nervous when everybody's watching. Now, find the hole. Got it. Pull it through. Thread on our buttons, aka beads. Beads would be pretty, wouldn't they? And then go for our center. take off that clip. Oh, popped right through. Goodness, love it. And here I have them both on the same side again, so I'm going to pop one over. Get rid of that pointy needle. And here's where we got to play with our string a little bit. And move our buttons. So I'm going to bring, these two are large and they want to overlap, and I need my string tight. So I'm going to bring the red one up to the top and this red one down to the bottom. So now I have room, so they nest right in there. And see, these want to overlap. So I'm going to bring this one down so this one can go up, so that I made room for all of them. So now we can pull her tight, double check. Oh yes, nice and tight. And here, we can just tie it in a bow, keep it out of our way. Clips off. Let's go ahead and do a bow on this one too. Looking good so far. Now we're ready for our other signature. Let's grab it. Double check my layout. Okay, oh, here we are, his little Santa checking out the world, and his book of good boys, and I imagine the other side says good girls. And so just make sure it's all nice and straight. Get our template in, double checking that I've got the top going the right way and I didn't put it upside down. I've done that, but I'll never admit to it, right? We do all our double checking for reasons, don't we? And then go ahead and pierce through those holes. And we can remove this. And get our string. Go for the center. unclip that thread. Our buttons, bottom half. Isn't that striped button fun? I got some red ones that are striped like that too. But when I put them next to the fabric, they got lost, and so not the best choice to use. Okay, my buttons are overlapping, so okay. Okay, this button wants to come by that thread, so I'm not able to pull it. So I'm going to bump them all up and try to hold it and stay in frame. Okay, that's good. Then come all the way to the top. Go ahead and unclip that. Buttons. In my haste in the past, I've forgotten to put the buttons on a half, so then you have to pull the thread out and pick up where you left off and get those buttons back on. And then go for my center. Double checking that I didn't get that thread. Yep, it's good. Pull it. Got it. Now, checking my buttons, make sure that they're laying flat and not piled up. And it looks like I did catch that thread. So I want to get that out of there. There we go. Because you cannot pull it tight if you've pierced that thread. And it also weakens it. Oh, they're much better now. And tie our knot. tie a bow, unclip, and play with buttons. So now we can do our shifting and moving. Let's bring that up. Let's bring that down. Got to keep remembering and keep it on frame. And then if you want to adjust, you can feel free to do that too after, you know, take a look at it. So here's our little book. Wasn't that simple? And then now you can do whatever embellishing that you want to in it. And because we have our stitches so nice and tight, and we did our double checking, everything is going to be so much better. And see, here we have our little pocket, and it opens up, and we can get a corner rounder out and round these corners. We can put a little tab on it. And then we can leave this so that you can decorate it, or we can glue it shut so you have another little tiny pocket, you know, and decorate it up with pretty paper or coffee dyed paper or Kool-Aid paper so that you could journal, add a picture. So we've got a nice variety. And here's our little coffee filter, and it has that built-in tuck. Here again. I like how the spots coordinates with this background paper on this story. Here's our Santas. And in our second, we can start our planning. Some more planning. And here we have our little pocket that we can put something in. Here's some more lined paper. You start your lists. Another pocket. Let's grab that corner rounder again. It just gives that little bit of a finish. Here we have our whole month. Some more lined paper. Another week of planning. The other half of our envelope. I always want to double check, make sure I didn't glue anything shut. Our last week of planning. I will find out what kit I actually used from Calico Collage and put it in the description box so that you can, if you're interested in the planner portion, you can go on her website or her Etsy shop and purchase that. We wish you a Merry Christmas. Look at all those fun mittens. Aren't they great? Love it. A little tracing paper. We need our corner rounder. So this is another one of the December dailies that I'm going to put in my Etsy shop and include it with the 4 bags of ephemera so that the new owner can decorate to their heart's delight and use the book how they see fit. So I'm going to go ahead and list it so anybody interested can go ahead and grab it up. And then I'll be making some more, and I'll be adding those as I get them finished. So I hope everybody found this helpful, and I look forward to seeing what you made. Thank you very much for playing with me. Have a great day.